What's up, everybody? Welcome to Buzzing with Marlowe live again. Woo! It's all about the you. Hey, man, I hope everybody's doing well. It is Friday, ladies and gentlemen. That is the weekend right next to you. All you got to do is just get through this day. Regardless what time you listen to this podcast, good evening, good morning, and once and all for all, man, it's the Friday right before the weekend, man. Let's go. Celebrate it, man. Have some fun, man. This has been a crazy week. Wow, man. I've got to first and foremost say thank you to everyone that came out to the Jay Lyric concert one night in Harlem. I'm gonna talk about this for another episode, man. That was just a miraculous night, man. What an appearance! What a night, man. That was so much fun. It was awesome just to get to have a full episode about a concert, man, that we've been literally promoting for oh my gosh, for almost 40 something days. Like literally, when I got selected to the team, told me, hey, we want your podcast on the show, man. I was definitely like, yeah, man, let's do it. I'm excited. And man, like just getting that visual, it kind of gave me back that promotion standpoint like I did with wrestling, man. It was so much fun. And just man, just to see all the hard work that Jay Lyric and his team, and I mean, including he considers me as one of his team. That means a lot to me because man, like that man's gonna go somewhere real soon, man. Shout out to him. Shout out to everyone that came out to the concert March 4th, man. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh, like couldn't get any better than that, man. Shout out to the person that opened the show. Phenomenal performance. What a way she had to travel pretty far to get here for that for that uh just that music and stuff like that. And shout out to them. Shout out to Jay. Shout out to all the hardworking guys that made that show what it was. And man, what an awesome guest, man. Like we had some NFL players, former NBA players, singers, man. It was just awesome. So much cool, man. Shout out to all the Buzzing with Marlowe fans that came out and said hello to me and talk about some of their favorite episodes, man. That was just super awesome. Definitely hope we can do one in the near future again. Um, yeah, I just major shout out to Jay Lyric and his team, man. Really was awesome. Especially Tip B, man. She did her thing. This girl, she put all this basically in line to help Jay Lyric not stress and stuff. Get this concert rolling, man. Shout out to his manager. Real big shout out to her. She definitely pulled all this off, and so did Jay Lyric and the team, man. Shout out to all y'all. All right, guys, we had a concert. We had some episodes talking about motivational speakers, life coaches, and we had a very different episode last week. I mean, I got a lot of good feedback on it, man. It was definitely meaningful. It was just shout out to her on that, man. It was just awesome episode. I mean, like I said, we talk about anything and everything. Next last week's episode, I kind of don't consider anyone having their kids listen to it. I mean, it was definitely a little bit different than our usual content, but man, it was definitely meaningful, man. Shout out to them and her journey to get Entwine up and running, man. Shout out, like I hope it really does do something for her, man, because everybody needs somebody, and it's a shame that something that she can't take control of really affected her in that way. And kudos to her to making a change. Really good. And shout out to Entwine, the app, and hopefully it makes a big difference. All right, guys. If you haven't, I know I've been talking already. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, guys. Subscribe to our channel, man. Subscribe. I mean, come on. I mean, whew, there it is. The follow, the notification, subscribe. Get your content so you are updated with all the Buzzing Marlowe content we do every Friday. And if you haven't, like and share and subscribe to our Facebook channel, our YouTube channel, our Twitch channel, and most importantly, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They're all down there. And guys, there are 60 different platforms. I can't name them all, but I will name a few: iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, Google Play, Google Music. Hang on, definitely Spotify, Spotify and Deezer, guys. Check them out. And most importantly, Podbean and Buzzsprout. Uh, there's a name a good few. I actually named even two extra ones, man. That's a little shocking. I've been trying to research some more, and I've actually saw one. It's called Reasonable, and I mean I'm making good play numbers on that, which was kind of crazy. I've never even heard of it, and I got a notification say, "Hey man, such and such many plays on Reasonable." I'm like, "Hey, okay, why not? Another platform, man. Just always the showing the love." Also, guys, want a fresh reminder, guys, if you haven't, go get our merch. Go get the merch on our bonfire shop at the Buzzing with Marlowe bonfire store, guys. There are so many options, like this one, this awesome hoodie. That's right, guys. You can get blue, black, green, orange, yellow, whatever color you want. I like the white one just because I wear black shorts and dark colors basically all the time, and I don't just wear white on white, and it just goes with pretty much everything I wear. And obviously, guys, we also got the V-necks. You see me rocking it at the gym. You can rock it on a date. Go hang out with your friends, sporting events. You can go to the gym in it. I mean, there's so many different options that you can do. Obviously, guys, we got the basic t-shirts as well. Um, get them, man. All sizes, everything. Colors, options, everything. Also, ladies, we got the Razorbacks. It's summertime. I know up north it's still probably kind of cold out there, but you're getting them back. Razorbacks are up and running, guys. Those have actually been the very popular ones, especially the newer ones we had. I'm also going to do a special campaign representing for this month coming up for autism awareness. I'm actually going to do a special logo with the Buzzing with Marlowe logo representation, and all the money is not going to go to Buzzing with Marlowe. It's going to an autism awareness foundation. I don't know what particular one yet. I'm still gonna check it out, and I'm definitely gonna get that going because with my son having autism and stuff like that, I am a big autism supporter. Not even just because my son, but definitely that's an extra incentive. But a huge supporter of autism, special kids, special people in general, and some of the smartest and best memory people I could possibly ever meet. So guys, look forward to that campaign coming up. Also, guys, I said it before, the March drawing is coming up. So you can get these so many different items. And guess what? It puts you in a drawing to get free merch. Not saying what it's going to be yet. We will reveal it 2 weeks before the raffle. But guys, all you got to do is buy the merch, screenshot it, send it to me. I give you a shout out, and you enter into a draw to get a special prize. That's all I can say about it. I got to stop talking about it because I get so excited. But guys, I know I've been babbling on for a good minute, but guys, I hope everybody's doing well because now I know everybody's waiting for the episode. Who is my guest, man? I get asked all the time, man, like, how are you doing what you're doing, man? You got killer guests every single week. Like, it doesn't matter, like, if they're rich, famous, or poor, man. It's just crazy, like, the episodes that you have, man. Some of the guys that I really thought would have been a lame episode been one of my favorite episodes. Like, it's just a super awesome thing. So, guys, I'm not going to waste any more time. Today, I'm joined with Ken Fleisher. That's right, guys. Ain't that last name pretty sweet, man? That sounds so freaking. That sounds like a superhero type last name, Fleisher. I mean, photography, uh, stage fright coach, stuff like that, man. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about ways to help people with stage fright, help with people with anxiety, which I'm a big I'm a big listener on that part because I need to stay out of the doghouse, ladies and gentlemen. My wife has very bad anxiety, and she uses that on me a lot. And I always used to say, "Oh, that's in your head or something," but apparently, maybe this episode might help me stay out of the doghouse. I mean, some of the other people that I've had on here, and they've talked about anxiety and stress and everything like that, and it's kind of helped me in ways with my wife in terms because she listens like, oh, you're really starting to understand this stuff now. So Guys, when the countdown hits from 30 to 1, I will be joined with Ken Fleisher, and the countdown starts. Are you ready? Are you? Because now I give you the countdown starts right now. All right, guys. I am joined with Ken Fleisher. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
How'd you like that spotlight just all on you? Like it literally
Yeah,
just
that was
overshadowed me and everything.
unexpected.
I think it was just that cool last name you had, man. It's just that thing just took over the whole thing right there.
All
It's
right.
like not even buzzing with Marlowe anymore. It's buzzing with Fleischer. There we go. Like you just took over. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, thanks. Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. It is Friday. Whew, what a week.
Yeah.
What a week.
Yeah.
You been having some crazy madness this week, man?
It's always crazy. Yeah. Every week is unique. We'll leave it at
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Is it hot or cold in the area that you're at right now?
Well, I'm in Maryland, which is technically the South, but yeah, it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
cold. We're in like 40s right now.
Whew.
Not Florida weather.
No, sorry.
It's all
It's been
right.
really hot. I can't even wear a long sleeve right now. I've been happy with the weather, but it's just like, oh my lord. It's like, oh, I used to have a nice little tan. Now it's like, oh, now I gotta take a sunburn just to get it off back. That's the struggle about it, man. I love
Yeah.
when because when we go visit my wife's family in Seattle, they're so much darker than us, like skin wise, and they live in Seattle, and they're looking at us like, "How are y'all so pale? Like y'all live in Florida." We're like, "It is miserably hot. Like you ain't trying to
You
stay in the sun
can't
all
go
day. Like
outside. Yeah.
I turn purple. I turn like purplish red when I take sunburns. I'm like, yeah, like if I'm gonna do that, I gotta have at least my face covered some because I don't want to come on this camera looking like Hellboy or something. Like literally just like, hello guys. Like I'm gonna have to filter in or something just to make myself look presentable. And but but I'm glad that the weather's starting to ease up a little bit on your end. I don't know if you're a big fan of the hot weather, but I'm sure not everybody just loves straight cold weather all the time.
I'm ready for winter to end. Yes.
At least the snow's gone, right? All the snow is not no problem or anything
Yeah,
like
we
that.
had we had flurries a couple days ago. It didn't
Oh
stick
wow,
or
really?
anything, but it's cold enough for that to happen. So
And people in my area, they would go nuts if we just saw flurries. Like that's literally as far as we get for snow at the
yeah,
minutes. Like I tell people all the time, like, man, we just need a bunch of snow cone machines to just start spurting out the ice just all over the place. That is our
yeah,
terminology of snow. And it'll
that'll
melt
work.
like in 2 seconds. But Ken, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
I started out as a photographer
Mm-hmm.
and worked in commercial photography for some time. Moved into the digital photography, of course, when that switched over and film disappeared. And I was helping a lot of photographers transition from film to digital because it's really a whole new skill set.
Mm-hmm.
People who didn't used to shoot film, who just have digital cameras now, don't really understand like how different it was just to figure out how to
Yeah.
get your exposure right.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you only get, let's say, 36 pictures on one roll of film, then you have to go get it developed. I mean, now we just like shoot out hundreds of frames and pick the one we want, but it was very different. So yeah,
That's
so I was helping
crazy.
photographers transition to the new skill set. That was a lot of fun and an interesting time for sure. Um, but with the new skill set, I also realized that to stay ahead of the curve, I might need to do something different. I don't think I've mentioned this to you yet, but I went on and I studied color science. So
Okay.
color science is, of course, most people ask, what is color science? That's usually
Mm-hmm.
the question that follows. Basically, that's with digital imaging. color scientists are the ones that figure out how to make the color of the images look good.
Oh, really?
So
So it's kind of like a filter in a way. Kind of like a filter.
well, it's not a filter. It's the
The
science
older
of
version, like
how
a, you know
your
how like all
camera.
the cameras and stuff is now, like filter wise. That's
Yeah,
basically like how it's kind of referenced. Like, oh, it's kind of like how we call it as a filter now. So
yeah,
that's what color
kind of.
science
But
is
it's really
basically.
just the science of how we see color and how our cameras see color and how we can control it to get the colors we want.
Okay.
So it's a lot of math, really, and but
Ooh.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But so anyhow, so yes, I'm a color scientist, which is kind of unique. Um, but then I was going on and I was coaching people for productivity because I've been a productivity geek ever since I can remember. Always
Mm-hmm.
looking, the not just task managers, but just productivity systems and habits and goals and workflows and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I ended up focusing on as a coach was procrastination. So
That's a big one. Yeah.
I found a way that I can help people with procrastination, and it works really well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and what was interesting to me is I was listening to a YouTube video or watching a YouTube video,
Mm-hmm.
and someone was talking about how they had stage fright, and then they started talking about the cause of stage fright. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, whoa, wait a minute, ding, ding, ding. That's the same as procrastination. And what it basically is, you get a trigger that activates your like fight or flight response. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the fight or flight response that's responsible for your procrastination, but also for your anxiety, your stage fright.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, well, if this works for fixing procrastination, maybe I can get it to work for stage fright as well.
Right.
So I found a couple volunteers, and they had some speaking engagements coming up. This was all pre-COVID, so it made sense at the time. Um, but there's actually a lot of speaking. There was actually a lot of speaking anxiety during COVID because people were on Zoom a lot, and a lot of people aren't
Yeah.
comfortable with that. But anyhow, I had these two volunteers give it a try. I kind of adapted the method from procrastination to work with speaking anxiety,
Right.
and it worked. These were two women who had stage fright for up to say 17 years or so each.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
within a few weeks, they both did not have their speaking anxiety anymore. So kind of remarkable. And I said, I think I'm onto something here.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so I love helping people, and this is a problem I know people have.
Yeah.
So,
I used to I used to think like it's just a voice in their head. It just tells them like, "Hey, no, don't make it for yourself. No, don't do that. Don't do this." Like in a way, I feel like that's what I love her to death. Not bashing her in any way, but that's how I felt when my wife would sit here and tell me about her anxiety. Like she
yeah.
has really bad anxiety,
Mhm.
and I'm always about that guy. Like if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Like she'll say she can do it, but then it's like when it comes to that moment, it's just like she'll have a panic mood, and it's just like I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just gotta try. Like you gotta get up and try. And she's like, no, 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 no. And like she'll just have like a like it's just like a blackout moment. And like literally, it's just it feels like it's not even in her head anymore. It's like that other voice. Like I used to say, there's a good side and there's a bad side on your shoulder. You know, like kind of like cartoons that used to have like, oh yeah, jump off that hill. Nah, man, don't do that. Don't do that. Like I feel like that's how that kind of scenario was for a little bit for me because I'm
Yeah.
just like, flick it off, Samantha. Like, honey, come on, flick it off. Like, just try it. Just try it. You don't know what if you don't try it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it just makes her even shut down more. And I've never understood
Exactly.
it. And since I've done the podcast and stuff, I've actually had got some people on here that were talking about anxiety, like depression, stuff like that, because I had to learn all this because when I first started dating her, I didn't know all this stuff. I knew what depression was, just obviously from personal feelings, and I mean anybody. I think everybody in the whole wide world has discovered something with depression. If you
Yeah.
haven't, kudos to you because I don't know what you're doing. Like literally,
Of course.
like,
Everybody's
but
human.
exactly. So I mean, if you haven't discovered depression yet, man, you deserve a golden medal or something because either you just avoiding it or you just like you're the perfect person. But it's just how the anxiety builds up and stuff like that. Like I never understood, and I think you could probably answer this for me. Is like I never understood why you gotta take pills and stuff like that for stuff like that to calm yourself nerves down. Or we obviously use the other things called CBD, and that's usually used for people to have stage fright, anxiety, PTSD, stuff like that. And I'm old school, man. I don't like taking medicine. I don't like taking anything that's I feel like can control me. Like I want myself to overcome that outcome.
Yeah.
And it's just like people are different. There's a lot of people who are different and stuff like that. So I'm very curious. Like, so how did you really get into that ordeal to actually want to do that? Is that something like you fell into obviously when you were doing the color science stuff, or was it you were just seeing stuff looked around and you figured something out? So you were like, you know what? Maybe I can do this for a living. Maybe I can help somebody that really this can make a major difference for them in life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all along, I'm always trying to find ways to help people. That's just kind of my
Mm-hmm.
nature. Whether it was the photographers or really the productivity as a productivity coach, I was just trying to help people because it's something I
Mm-hmm.
know and I can share. And if I could see people who are don't know how to manage their time or don't know how to manage all of the things they have to do and they get stressed about it, I can help with that. I just
Right.
like to. So that was what led me to coaching. I fell into the stage fright thing because, as I described, it was just sort of a chance occurrence that I learned that it was the same underlying cause. And
Mm-hmm.
and I know, I mean, I already knew stage fright really is just such a widespread problem, like
Mm-hmm.
to varying degrees, but so many people have it. So I knew once I realized that my solution for that can work, I knew that that was a better direction for me to go, and so that's why I started down that path.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I like how you said there's so many people that have like man. When I was in that crazy world of professional wrestling, you'd be amazed at how many guys are stage fright. Like they have stage fright,
really,
and they're not good around people nonstop. I'm like, bro, we can wrestle in front of 5,000 people, and you're good. Like he's like, it's different. We're in the ring. It's just us. Blah blah blah. I'm like, that's still not the possibility. You're still hearing 5,000 people around you. Like you're still hearing fans. Like
mhm,
I lived for it, and when I heard people were like stage fright, I'm looking. I'm like, you do know there's a full house out here, right? There's not like four people out here that you're sitting here telling me you're stage fright. Like this don't make no sense to me. And then like when the show would be over and stuff, and there'd be fans obviously waiting in the back, waiting for wrestlers to come out and whatever. Like they would try to hide and walk away from them because they had like panic attacks and stuff like that. And I
I'm
was just
really
like, it's crazy. Like it's crazy to see like that was a possibility that could happen for people that perform in front of so many people, and they still are really not good to be around people. You're doing an entertainment bird deal, but you don't want to do the other end of it. Like you're like, I'm there to perform, then after that, I'm out. Like 90 signing autographs, I'm out. That no ifs ands or buts. It's just crazy how that works.
Yeah, I'm really glad you shared that story, that example, because it actually illustrates really one of the problems about speaking anxiety. And that's
Mm-hmm.
that for every person, it can manifest differently. There
Mm-hmm.
can be the person who can get up in front of an arena of 5,000 people, but will have trouble talking to 10 or one. And
Yeah.
then there's people the exact opposite. We're talking to small groups, one or up to 10 or small groups is no problem, but get in front of the arena and it's full on stage fright.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
and it goes back to what you were talking about with your wife and how you were saying how you didn't understand like why and where it comes from. And the thing is, it's individual. For every person, the reason is different, but it
Mm-hmm.
usually traces back to some event, most likely in childhood, but it doesn't have to be, when you there was some negative experience. And the brain made an association with either public speaking or whatever the anxious situation is with that experience. And if that
Mhm.
got repeated more than once, it would reinforce that.
Right.
And so what's happening now when your wrestlers were in the backstage and couldn't talk to a small crowd of fans, there was something in their past that was a similar
Kind of
scenario.
triggered
Now
them.
that's
Kind of
triggered.
triggered it.
And
Yeah.
as soon as fight or flight kicks in, that's when the mind can go. I mean, the symptoms will be different, but mind might go blank. The heart starts racing. You start getting tremors, maybe get sweaty, whatever their symptoms are.
It's crazy how that
It
builds
is.
up like that, man. It's like
And yeah, but
I
you're
just
right
like,
about it
does it
being in
all
your
feel
mind.
worth it? Like that's the thing. Like I don't know, man. I think it's just because I've never been so around it. Like I mean, I've
Yeah,
been with my wife for now 6 years, and I've experienced it numerous times with her. Like there's just some things that she will do, and then there's some things that she won't do, and you cannot
yeah,
change her mind. It doesn't matter what you say. It's
yeah,
just not gonna happen. And it's just crazy like how that can so affect them, and it like controls them in a way, like it like basically puts them by like an invisible wall is like right in front of them, and they're just not even going forward. Like it just feels like somebody's got something like to their head or something. It's like, yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Like this is, you cannot change my mind. And it's
yeah,
just crazy like that can be that serious of a deal. Like it can cause stress, it can cause real bad depression. Like, oh my lord, sometimes it gets so depressing. It's like I want to do it, but I can't do it, and it's just like
mm-hmm.
just take that step, just walk a little further. I'll hold your hand, just walk a little further. Like, and it's just like it ain't that easy. It ain't that easy. And I mean, and I'm pretty sure you've said it before. It's like everybody's got a different method, but it's like, man, it's like,
Yeah,
why? Like, how's that possible? I am curious though. So you
yeah.
did say so with you being a stage fright coach and stuff. So if you got any like tips or anything, let me know. Do you got any like anything that really for a fact that like could help somebody for that type of scenario?
Yeah, I'm actually really glad you asked that because I do get asked that quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've done any searching on Google, let's say, or read articles, listened to other podcasts, you're going to find a whole range of tips.
Mm-hmm.
And usually the tips are focused on one or two things or the top 5 things.
Right.
And the thing is, in general, they're not going to help. And so this is why I'm not going to actually share a tip, but I'm going
Uh
to tell you why they don't
oh.
help. I'm
Oh
gonna I'm
man, I
gonna
was
tell you.
hoping you would keep me out of the doghouse on this one. Oh man, all
Well,
right. I'm very interested now.
the tips on their own may be perfectly valid suggestions and perfectly good advice. There's nothing wrong
Mm-hmm.
with the advice in general. The problem is when somebody such as your wife who has an anxiety that is either officially a phobia or a
Yeah.
borderline a phobia where it's really irrational.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real rational reason for this to happen.
Right.
Or it might just be anxiety that's building due to whatever the situation is. These tips might bring some relief or they might work, but they'll probably require a lot of effort and they won't really stop the symptoms and they won't really cure the problem because
Mm-hmm.
next time the same thing is going to happen. So
Right.
tips like that don't work. What's needed really is a full process. It's not going to just be one thing that you do. Um, some people for speaking anxiety, they're told or they try just keep getting up and talking. I mean, it's sort of like what you were saying, your wife, just try it. I'm here. I'll help you, and do it enough times and you'll get used to it and it'll go away. I've even seen a TED talk where that's basically the
I
suggestion.
get yelled at more higher and higher.
That's essentially what they call exposure therapy. Just keep exposing yourself to it to desensitize. But the problem is
Exactly.
when it's a phobia, that can actually cause the phobia to get worse. And I think you
Really?
described that already as well. It can
So
because
it definitely makes it get worse in ways. So
well,
it
it
doesn't really
can.
help it.
It can. I'm not going to say definitely one. It can go either way. So for some
Okay.
people, constantly getting up and facing that fear can make it go away.
Okay.
But for some people, it can make it even worse. And because
Right.
your brain is going to say, this was something that you should avoid and it's something to be feared. Look how badly that went. That was horrible. Don't do it again. See,
Yeah.
that's like reinforcing it. It's a
It definitely causes bad
self-reinforcing.
arguments. I will definitely say that.
Yeah.
I use a reference like how when I first started wrestling, like I never when I started wrestling, first of all, I never expected to wear a mask because just when you wear a mask, that means you're doing all that crazy flippy dippy, high flying stuff. And I was just like, I'm not a high flyer. I was very like, I was good in shape, but I literally was not that flexible, if that makes any sense. So, like, literally all that flipping and all that, that's just not going to happen with me. And not even half in a year, man. The guy got me to do it. Shout out to the booker. I mean, I don't give him praise much, but he got me up on that top rope, and I just did it. And it was like kind of like how you said with an anxiety thing, like it went from square one to B. Like when I first started doing wrestling, and he was like, "Hey, how you feel about being a mess?" I'm not a flippy dippy guy. I can't do all that stuff. He was okay with it. Like I said, it took like not even 6 months. He got me up. He got my confidence up to start jumping in and out of the ring, start jumping on the top rope and stuff like that. And I was just like, was it really that hard? Now, I mean, 6 years later, causes problems. I mean, I can't say that's in particular what caused it, but I mean, just the sport maybe in general in my body. But other than that, like it got me to overcome that obstacle. And I love how when you say this is something that you've always wanted to help somebody. Like I feel like that's kind of like me and you got the same comparison with that. I always feel like I always want to give a helping hand to somebody, like with this podcast. When COVID first hit, I wanted to help my friends that are wrestling get still connect with their fan base, like still be able to connect with fans. Like, hey, we're still here because I mean they're not making money because shows were canceled. And like another thing, another reference is basically like child support issues. Like I have a son with somebody else that I was in high school with, and I am on child support. Like it's not an easy topic. It's not an easy thing to do. And I've learned in a podcast, man, you just gonna have to learn. The vulnerability is going to happen. Like you got to learn how to just throw that barrier out of the way. Like not even gonna lie, in 20 of the episodes that I started when I first started, I wouldn't even said anything like that. Literally. But you have to break out of these barriers because like when I said about my podcast is man, I gotta be real. I can't sit here and play a character. Like I was American Prodigy. Like when I first started this podcast, I rode the coattail of American Prodigy. I'm not even gonna lie on it. Like he was popular and stuff like that. Now I've vamped. Now you see my logo. You see the newer logo as well. Now it's Warren Marlowe's podcast. It's not just American Prodigy that's got Buzzing with Marlowe. It is Warren Marlowe's podcast. And I open a hand and literally just like, hey, what can we do to help somebody? Like I look at so many different ways of like connecting with the audience. Like everybody asks me all the time, like what's the particular topic you do on your episode? Whatever based off my guest is. Like I love that so much more because you can give so many more perspectives. You can't get necessarily burnt out that way because you're getting an education like every week because not everybody's gonna be able to like that makes sense because I mean somebody convinced me pageantry was an entertaining episode. Shout out to Stacey Simpson. I will always say that one. And that's where I was like, you know what? No matter what person, what job they have, there's always an interesting subject that can be involved in it. And it can go a good 30 minutes, 40, whatever time. And it's just an amazing thing. Like that's one thing I look forward to on these episodes is just what can I learn from these? And like how you said color science, I've never heard of that. And that's when I was looking, I was like, so what's the difference between that and science? Like, are you trying to say science was black and white? Like, what's going on here? Like, it's just like, what's the difference with color science and science? Like, and I like how you said it's just with a bunch of number with math and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh, that would definitely not be in my repertoire. But
it's a lot of
with the
work.
color science ordeal like that, like how you said where pictures started going from just regular film to digital. Like, how was that for you? Like, how was that at first? Like, was it where the point where you were like, you thought you knew about it, and then when they switched, it was just like, I don't know if I can keep continuing just because I don't have that much knowledge onto that subject as much as I did on the other, because
Yeah.
adaptation is a very tough karma some days now.
Yeah, no, I embraced it early. I loved the
Okay.
digital. So I was doing work with images on the computer while we still had film. It's like you had to scan the film in,
Hmm.
um, and or digitize your image somehow from the film, and then you work
Okay.
with it. I mean, a lot of people use Photoshop. I've been using it since version 1.5. I'm not talking CC. I'm talking
Oh,
1.5. It
yeah.
was 1990, I believe,
Yeah.
somewhere around 1991, maybe something like that.
Oh man,
And
that's when I
early
was
on,
born.
I was giving yeah, yeah, and early on, I was given presentations at Macworld in San Francisco on the
Okay.
use of certain digital imaging manipulation tools and whatnot. So I was in there early. So when the
Hmm.
cameras changed to digital, I was
You
really
already
quite
updated.
prepared to help. Yeah.
Okay. I like that,
So
man. Can
yeah.
you imagine people back in the day doing the selfie standpoint that people do now? Like how much film they would have wasted just sitting there. Oh man, I missed the angle right. Like it won't stop moving. Like, and the funny thing is, they wouldn't be able to see it for a good 10 minutes or wherever they were, because it's just like you gotta sit here and fling the pictures, or you have to put it in water. Like
Yeah.
back in the days pictures, I sit here and laugh all the time. Like, man, I would have loved to seen this selfie mania go go strong with this era. Like that jump is so funny. Like you would have wasted a whole roll trying to take a selfie.
Yeah. Well, it certainly wasn't the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So doing self-portraits on film was a whole different ball game. Yeah.
Hmm. Do you miss that? Do you kind of miss that type of
No.
picture era, or do you like? You definitely love the technology now.
The only thing I miss about it is because film made you be more intentional about every frame that you shoot. I miss that
Hmm.
aspect because I think we waste a lot of we just shoot a lot of stuff to try and pick the best, and we kind of assume, well, I can fix that in Photoshop, so you're not so careful about
It's
everything. But
crazy.
as
It's
a
so crazy.
professional photographer, I think being more intentional about what you shoot is I do miss that aspect of it, I guess you
Hmm.
could say. But there's no comparison. Digital is so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, you,
You definitely get more
you
camera film. That's for sure.
yeah. You have a young daughter. I have a young daughter. You can burst that digital camera and get that one frame that's just right out of that burst,
Hmm.
which you'd never get on film, or it would be really hard to get in any case.
People have been broke just sitting there buying pictures and film.
Yeah,
Stay still. I ain't got no more rolls today. Stay
yeah,
still.
yeah.
Annabelle
That's very
she
different.
loves pictures and hates it at the same time. Like
Mm.
she'll give you that good solid 2 snaps. After
Uh,
that, you better had it, because she's like, I'm done. I'm done
right.
today. No, no, no. That she'll tell us right off the rip. No, no,
Yeah.
no. Because her Gigi, her Gigi loves to take pictures, and Annabelle will give her two good pictures, and she's like, no more,
That's
no
pretty
more.
funny.
No, we gotta stay and stay. Oh, no more, no more. She'll just go, no.
She's in charge.
Oh my lord, she has a mind of her own for 3 years old. It's crazy. Like
Yep.
I have, like I said, I have a son. He's 9, and I compare those two so much. That's like when he was a baby, he was an angel. My daughter, not even in the 12-month range, you could already tell this one was going to be work. Like you could already tell this one was going to be the one that literally goes, I don't know if I'm going for a third. It's not like I don't love her or nothing, because I love that girl
Yeah.
to death, but it's just like,
A lot of work.
if you're like this, Lord help us if we go for a third one and they even have double your energy and whatever else the possibility in that one. My wife, she wants another one, but I mean, she's I I didn't even want another one just because like how the situation I have with my son and I had to deal with a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
Still, it's not all sunshine and rainbows now this day, knowing that he lives 8 hours away.
Mhm.
And so when she come, I settled in because first of all, she married me, and that was one thing she definitely wanted was she wanted a child.
Mhm.
And the funny thing is how that story was all built up. My wife was so dead set on having a daughter, and like how we talk about anxiety and stuff like that, her anxiety was so crazy. Like she thought she was gonna have a boy. She was breaking down, crying. I'm sitting there,
Mhm.
I'm like, doesn't matter. I really want a girl. So we had a gender reveal, and I told her stepmom and her dad, I was like, tease it, but I want y'all to tease the living mess out of her. Tease the mess out of her. They were the only two that knew what the gender was of the baby. And
Uh-huh.
because we were doing the big gender reveal party, because like I said, I didn't have all that when I had my son. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I just literally I was somewhat in college and basically finding out, hey, you're going to be a dad. So it was like, all right, basketball's out of the way. Like, time to go home. So it was just like, I felt like I could go do FSCJ or junior college and I've been fine, which it didn't necessarily all pan out, but I did finish a certain amount. But it's just hard. Like people don't realize how hard it is to juggle a child and education in a way. I mean, that
Yeah.
might sound like an excuse, but it was tough for me. And that says a lot for me because I hate saying that I can't do something or something
Yeah.
beats me down because I'm very competitive on everything I do. Like
Mhm.
and sometimes me now at 30, my ego still gets the best of me sometimes because I don't know how to turn stuff down. So they're like, hey man, you feel like you can still do this 40? I'm like, I ain't old rusted yet. Like, what you mean? Like, set that clock up. It might be 2 speeds a little behind than I'm used to, but it's like, you know what? I can still go. And sometimes it just bites me in my rear end too because I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Like the next day is like, oh, yoga definitely has got to be the option today. Like
Right.
I literally have to stretch an hour a day just so my body is moving. Like I'm good to go. If I have those stretches that day, I'm fine. If I don't, I'm very crippled and I really just cannot move anywhere.
Right.
And that age is starting to
Wow.
just sneak up on me now. And it's like, I'm about to turn 31 in May. So it's like, well, it's only going up from here. You're never going back down. So just make the best of it. So,
Yeah.
but
That's
yeah,
all you
man,
can do.
my ego has definitely been an issue sometimes. It's just because it's like I got so much pride in how I am, and I'm pretty sure that's how like you when you say you were a production geek in a way, it's like you got pride, like you can perform at a certain level, and that's where you expect to perform at.
Oh yeah.
And I like how when you said you were a production geek because I work at a warehouse, so we could really be real fond on that because that is all based on production.
Yeah.
And system is definitely there. I mean, it's you learn your own way. So I love how when I said, "Where's some tips you got?" and you're like, "There's no tips. It's based off of how that person can function. We do from square one all the way up." And I can just tell like all the stuff that you've witnessed and encountered,
Mhm.
it, just the knowledge you have, man, it's pretty awesome because like how you said, man, you just really here to open a hand to people. And that says a lot about you because a lot of people ain't like that. A lot of people are not like, hey, they'll
Yeah.
figure it out. It's not
Yeah.
it's not my job. It's not my job. They'll figure it out. And that definitely says a lot about your character.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up again. If it's okay, I'd like to mention one thing. So
Go ahead.
when I was talking about the tips and that I wasn't gonna give any, um, but
Uh-oh.
no, but so what you really want to look at is a whole process that can help. So it's not
Hmm.
just like individual random tips, but things that are cohesive and work
Yeah.
together. And I've developed a workshop. I call it Confidence on Demand. And
Okay.
your listeners, anyone who is interested, who might have speaking anxiety, who would want to take a look at it, it's a choose your price model. So you can sign up for $0 if you want. You can give a little something if you think it's worthwhile. Totally up to you. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. And for the rest of the listeners who don't have speaking anxiety, maybe you probably know somebody who does. So for you, I'd recommend my tip
Still,
for
to, still okay
for
to
the
learn. It's
listeners.
still okay to learn something. That's
Yeah,
what people don't realize. Like, it's still okay
absolutely.
to get into that perspective in ways. Like,
Yeah.
you can fit in somebody else's shoes to see what really happens. Like, I love how when you say that, because like with my son with autism and stuff, they had like this experience where they had this van and you go on it and you literally experience like how it is for kids that have autism, like
Mm,
touching, sensory, hearing,
mm,
seeing, like, and it's mind boggling. Like, I highly recommend anyone to go check that van out because it's called Autism. It's Autism Experience, and they do once a year thing. They travel all around the world, and they give people visualizations of like what it's like to have that, because people, they, when you hear autism, you're thinking is, oh man, that person's like special, like there's special needs and stuff like that. And I used to be like that until I had my son. And like I said, it has to give you a different visual to it. And you want to learn everything of it. Like when I first heard about autism and they were talking about how you can find the symptoms of, oh my gosh, I was like, how many different ways you can identify this? Like, I'm like, there's a
mm.
hundred different symptoms. Like, how can you list all that? And it's just like, my son was like on 50 of them out of that, because it's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's really cool. Like, you wear these glasses and you see how they see and stuff, and it's just like, man, like, it really is very intriguing, because it's like you getting to live inside a different perspective, because not everybody is the same. That's one reason why life is very different in ways, because if everybody was the same, it would just be really bland and like, this is not right. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know about this. But it's so different. And that's one thing I love about these podcasts, is because it's giving people a visualization in somebody else's shoes. And with your experiences and stuff like that, I mean, with the stage fright coach and all that stuff, and I'm really intrigued by the color science thing. That
Yeah.
was really cool. Like how you just gave it a whole different metaphor to that, and it's just really entertaining, because like the old me, you would have said math, I'd have been out the door. Like the old me was like, math, nah, man. I did that in school. I'm done. I can't hear nothing else about no math. But now it's like, oh man, that sounds really entertaining. Like, that's really cool. It's just really cool to see the stuff that you have achieved. Not only achieved, but you're always looking to help somebody else, get them up to date and stuff like that. That means a lot, because like how you said, you're the that productivity
Yeah.
standpoint, man. I see it as kind of like how the military is. It's either you learn it or you don't,
Mhm.
but it's also good to help people. I mean, not everybody's gonna know everything in the first part of the day, like how you said with the stage fright thing, man. You could
Yeah.
see a celebrity right now to this day, and they could have really bad anxiety.
It's so
You wouldn't
true.
know that. You wouldn't know that because you just see them in the limelight. You don't see them like all the stuff they got to go through in life. Like, I know numerous people that I've been around and stuff, like how are they stressing out? They're celebrities. They're making so much money. They get any car they want. They get to travel wherever they want. I'm like, technically, no. They're a robot. They literally have to promote this movie. They have to make time to make this movie come out. Like, they can't plan nothing around this movie take. And some of them actually go from that scene to going to another movie that won't even be out for another 3 years, but they got to get it in production and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, y'all don't realize how much stress that can be on somebody. Like, you got a camera in your face 24/7, and not only that, you can't even walk to a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Pizza Hut. I don't know if
Yeah.
they fully have that in California. They might have something like that, but a different name. But it's like they can't even do that on their own, like without even covering their face or something. Like, they have to be in the light. Somebody has to have them on a magazine and stuff like that. it really just overwhelming in ways. And I mean, I used to be like that when I was younger, but it's like, man, I feel bad for him. I mean, it's really crazy, like how that can be that chance. And when they do these like fundraisers for like homeless kids and stuff, that's really them from the bottom of their heart saying, "Hey, I'm trying to give back." And people give it a wrong feedback in ways. But it's like, you know what? They're giving a helping hand. They're doing what they can.
Mhm.
And it's just awesome to see people actually wanting to give back. And that's one big thing I hope people see when they watch this episode is when you hear the name Ken Fleisher, that man always gives back. That man would always give a shirt off of his back for somebody. Always want to be a helping hand, and that's one way I definitely will be able to remember you for sure on any of these episodes, is because just you're just a nice human. You're just a nice person. Like literally, it's hard to find those nowadays. Like
Thank you.
especially in that productivity standpoint, because like I said, I live in a warehouse. I work in a warehouse,
Yeah.
so you see all kinds of personalities in there. You see the negatives, you see the positives, you see the overworkers, the overthinkers, you see the ones that like, hey, they're done by the rules and only the rules. Some people are like, I screw the rules, I do it my own way. This is how long I've done it. And then when that new adaptation comes in, they get thrown off and get mad. They're like, man, this job is set out to get me and something such. Like it's just so many different mindsets that people get in, and it's just based off of a flow of a job, of an event, something happening at home, stuff like that. You never know what is going on with them. And like how you said, from square one to all the way up to help them with their stage fright. You never know what's transpiring in someone's life. And that's just that's how people don't see that stuff. And that's why it's so hard for people to go, do they really need help, or is it just it's in their head? And I'm glad I'm
Yeah.
actually getting more advice on this, because I used to be like that with my wife. I'm like, man, this is in your head. Snap out of it. Try it. Do what you need to do. But it's a serious thing. It really is a serious thing. And I just hate the fact that people have to take medicine and stuff like that. But I mean, that's the only way that people really can get rid of it. Then I guess that's all you can do.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the only way. That's
I
one
know,
way.
but
Right.
in their
Yeah.
minds, that's the thing
Yeah.
about this generation. They feel like they can't do something unless it's slightly handed to them. And I think anyone could agree with me on this, and it might actually upset some people, but it's got to be written out for them to do it. If it's not written out for them to do it, they ain't going to do it. Which I've experienced that when I did personal training, when somebody expected that they were going to be lifting weights my first session. I warned everybody, your first session's free because I need to see where you stand.
Hmm.
And I wouldn't do any weightlifting with them. They would literally do a ball, lean against the wall, bounce back up, bounce back up,
Right.
bounce back up. And they would get so pissed with me. And they're like, man, this is not good. I don't like this. This is not helping me. You're a terrible trainer. I don't know how you're so fit. You must be doing steroids or something, because there is no way you look like that doing this. Period. I don't care what you say. There's no way. And I said, you know what? Come back, come back tomorrow. I won't charge you. Come back tomorrow. I'll put you under the bar. Okay. Came back. They were squatting not only their body weight, but even more, just because they were so used to that form using the ball. And I would tell them,
Yeah.
like, go all the way down, hold it as long as you can, and pop back up. Go back down, pop back up. And
Mhm.
they saw major results. And it was one of my favorite clients, even though they were a pain in the neck the first 2 days. But then after you just saw them, their face lit up after they squatted that weight. It was like watching a kid walk for the first time. And it was just like, this is why I do what I do.
That's great. They
And
finally understood your process.
it took them a while. I'm not
Yeah.
even gonna lie. It took them a while. They were getting so mad at me because they're like, "What's this ball supposed to do to help me get fit? Like, this is if I want to do this, I'll go to a jungle gym or something like that. Like, I'll go to a kid's playground and play with their bouncy ball or something." I'm like, "Nah, you'll thank me in about another hour or so." And
Right.
it's just crazy that people want to speed up so much of a process. Like even when I was wrestling, I did have injuries, but I would do stuff to quickly get myself back. And
Yeah.
that's what really bit me in my tail for my 6 years because I wasn't fully doing from square one to the end. I was doing square six to the end. Like it was
Okay.
just whatever I could speed up to get this recovery. Ice
Yeah.
bath, bet. Icy hot, sweet. Tens unit, stuff like that. Like I would find the easiest things to get me moving. I would I never escalated the Tylenol or Motrin or any of that pain meds, but that's my big achievement to that because I just don't believe in that stuff. It's just in my mind. I have to really be in pain to do it.
Right.
When I had one of my wisdom teeth moved, I definitely needed Motrin and Tylenol because that absolutely just was miserable.
Yeah, nothing wrong with
And
that.
that's really the only time I can tell people I've really done it lately. And I
Mm,
mean that was like 5 years ago.
yeah.
So literally it's just like uh-uh. It's just I don't see the reason on these things. Like I feel like your body is based off of how you treat it. It's like how with you're like a car. You can't you can't go, hey, I want to buy a Mercedes. No, you are stuck in this car. That's what you were born in. This is what you're gonna do. So are you just gonna let it get old and rusty and just like just keep feeding it all that nonsense oil, all that crazy little squeaky clean things off the rip, or are you gonna take care of yourself? Start watching the mileage, start looking at, hey, maybe I need to wash you regularly, like stuff like this.
I love
I
your
like that
analogy.
metaphor. I like that metaphor a little bit. And I was looking, I was like, hold on, what? That does make sense. Okay, then we'll keep going. It's just like in a way, but yeah, man, it's just really cool. I know I've been babbling on about it, but it really does have its true meaning to what you're doing because you're making a difference, and that speaks a lot. It definitely does speak a lot.
Yeah. No, I can't
That
agree
car
more.
metaphor, I was actually impressed with. I was like, man, that kind of sounded pretty intelligent in that one. All right.
Yeah, no, I like where you went with that. I might have to borrow it.
There you go. I'll give it to you. It's the Fleisher special. There you go.
All right. Very good.
But yeah, man. We're about to start winding down. Is
Okay.
there anything you want to follow up on? Do you want to give any last minute shout outs? You want to do some plugs? I mean, the floor is yours, man.
Okay, thanks. I'll just repeat the confidence on demand workshop. It's pay what you want, pay what you can. So
Mhm.
everyone's welcome to sign up for $0 if you want. That's perfectly acceptable.
The links
I
will
know
be
some
below,
people.
guys.
And if you know somebody who has speaking anxiety, somebody who you think might benefit from hearing this talk, give them the link to this podcast episode. Have them listen to it
Hmm.
because I know there's a lot of people out there, and everybody's got to know at least one person who could benefit
Yeah.
from hearing about this.
Oh yeah. I totally agree with you on this, man. And man, this was really cool, man. I really enjoyed this episode. Like
Yeah,
I
thank you. This is fun.
I love the metaphor with the color science and stuff, just like how much you adapted on from doing that to making a difference with a stage fright coach and stuff like that, and just seeing how passionate you are on these stuff. I mean, in a way, I can relate to some stuff that you do because like I could tell when you do something, like you put your full focus on to make that work, and
Yeah.
when that does work, then obviously it's like okay, now it's time for another challenge. Let me see what I can do with this. And I just love that mindset because people just don't have it nowadays. I mean, in
It's a
sports reference,
drive.
I call that somebody has to have that dog in the fight. Like you have to
Right.
have that mentality that's not being able to be broken. Like you have a heart of a lion and just keep going. And it's hard to find those nowadays, man. It's insane. It's really insane. But man, I appreciate you doing this, man. This was an absolute episode, and I want to remind you also, guys, the link will be below. Also, man, tell them, hey, Buzzing with Marlowe sent you. He might even give you a nice little shout out. You never know. And hey, maybe that reference about a car might be on a T-shirt, something. Who knows? I mean, I sound very impressed like that. That came from heart. I didn't write anything down like that. And I was like trying to figure out where I was going with it, and I'm like, I stick with it. It sounds good. And especially you credited, I was like, so I'm definitely doing good. Definitely doing it good. If Ken approved it, I'm doing fine.
All right.
But yes, Ken, I appreciate this, man. You will be more than welcome to come on anytime you want. But guys, like I said, the links will be below. Check it out. Definitely check this out, man. If you even if you don't have stage fright problems or anything, man, check give him a heads up, man. Talk to him, check him out, see what it is. Like I said, I have a wife that has anxiety, so maybe I'll check this out just to keep out of the doghouse eventually. Like who knows? But Ken, I appreciate you doing this, man. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much for having me. I really enjoyed it as well.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, guys, time to get the biceps flex. Hey, guys, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Time to get the go home cue. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the one and only Ken Fleisher. Fleisher coming on today, having a great chat with us, talking about all those cool things, man, about color science, what's what is color science, talking about the stage fright coach stuff, how he got into it, just a helping hand, guys. Like those that goes so many different ways, man. So many different ways. It's such a beautiful and positive thing. Um, Man, it was such a good chat. Such a good chat. Guys, if you haven't, guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe all our platforms and all our audio forms so you can keep updated to our content, guys. Highly recommend this one. This was episode 87. Round of applause, guys. Round of applause. I know I didn't mention it, but guys, we have hit a milestone once again. YouTube milestone at that. Guys, we are at currently 127 subscribers. Round of applause. Man, Man, that is insane. Oh my goodness, I'm so blessed, guys. So blessed. So thank y'all. Like y'all don't know how hard that has been. Like promoting YouTube is it's a struggle. But man, just seeing what the results are. Like I said, man, I will praise it even if there's one or two new subscribers. I don't care. That just shows, hey, that hard work, regardless of whatever. If I'm only able to captivate one person a week, two people a week, regardless what it is, that's the success for me. As long as we're going up and not going down. That's my metaphor, man. As long as you're rising up, there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to really go, you know what? I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't know. Like literally just man, just keep you going, keep moving. Put that put that foot on the gas, man. Just keep putting that foot on the gas and just keep going. That's the one thing I think. Obviously, that's not the possibility of what you should do, judging by the episode. Judging what Ken just said with his tips and stuff like that for the stage fright coach and stuff like that. But it is a start. That's how I've been used. Shout out to my dad. I don't give a lot of shout outs to him on this, but man, shout out to my dad. Like, even though, man, the tough love he gave me, man, literally, it helped me become who I am. It helped me have that confidence and stuff. Maybe he had me learn not to say no in so many ways, but shout out to my dad. Maybe one day I might get him on this podcast. Maybe. He keeps telling me no, but people, I guarantee you would be entertained by it. I might get bashed a lot in the episode, but it'd be an interesting. It'd be a very interesting episode. But guys, I know I've been babbling, but guys, like I said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to all our platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and most importantly, our LinkedIn. We are on that now. We are on that. But guys, this has been another great episode of Buzzing with Marlowe. Also, guys, I want to shout out to the Facebook group of Let's Talk Sports. Um, thank y'all. We're definitely honored to actually be on that platform, be on that profile and stuff like that in that group, and just it's only gonna come up from here, man. It's really awesome to be on that channel, and who knows what can happen. Also, guys, if you're a big fan of pro wrestling, like my past, pro wrestler, guys. I was American Prodigy. You know what? One of these guys literally calls me the alternate Deadpool. Um, that's fight words for me, guys. But hey, guys, shout out to my commission boys, like I was saying about Wednesday, every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We do commission talks. It is my boy Shiz Linky from Off the Top Ropes Podcast and my boy Dre on Wheels from the 11:30 podcast, and we are formed as the Commission, and we do commission talks every Wednesday. Um, unless if we take turns, we do each show each week, so it kind of alternates. Like that's why I like the three podcasters into one because we take turns. So say like my week, I do one. The next week, Off the Top Ropes, it'll be on their platform, and then the next week it'll be on Talk Pro Wrestling, the 11:30 podcast on a Friday. Also, guys, check that out. Check it out. So much great content. We talk about the good and the bad of the sport of professional wrestling. We even talk a little bit about the NBA and the NFL. Obviously, the NFL is done now, so it's not a lot of football references we can do right now, but we still talk about the NBA. Um, we talk about stuff that goes on, like movie wise and stuff like that. We were actually thinking about kind of like making an episode, possibly talking about an upcoming movie. Uh, but who knows? Just check it out. Commission Talks, fan of pro wrestling. Even if you're not a fan of pro wrestling, I think you would be very entertained. If you like the show Skip and Shanahan, you will like Commission Talks because somehow me and my boy Shiz, we like to go at each other left and right. And my boy Dre just be throwing a bone and watching us nibble that thing and running and trying to just rip each other's throats out to grab that bone in ways like it's just an entertaining chat. A lot of people talk about just how amazing it is to watch the versus battle between me and Shiz. Uh, just very two different perspectives. Like I got the wrestler's perspective and they got the fans' perspective. Shiz actually was in the ring. Um, Obviously, he didn't fully do it, but Shiz actually has that mindset of how it is to be in the ring, how it is to run the ropes and stuff like that. And I'm sure Dre has always wanted to be in the ring or something, man. Very entertaining guy. Very, very, very popular. I will definitely say, man. Definitely shout out to them too. It's just an awesome, awesome episode each week with them. Like I said, commission talks. Also, guys, major round of applause to my boy off the top rope, Shiz Lansky. Uh, the skip to my Shanahan. Um, shout out to them for their 2 year anniversary. They have been on podcasting platforms for 2 years. Shout out to them on that. Um, and my boy Dre, he just had his 100th episode not even a month ago. And it's just crazy to see the growing sensations every single time. And guys, like I said, we're on episode 87. Close. Close to getting that 100. Um just a beautiful thing. Awesome, awesome thing. Guys, also I want to give a last minute plugs to Buzzsprout. Episode is sponsored by Buzzsprout. Um and Podbean. Like Podbean is definitely going to be one of the main platforms that we're going to be start running on really, really soon. We will still be on Anchor and Spotify. Uh, there's a few right there. That's the old logo. If everybody remembers, I got the newer logo now, but obviously we're also on iHeartRadio. But guys, this has been another episode of Buzzing with Marlowe. I hope everyone has a great, great weekend. Have a fun time, man. If you're in the Florida area, enjoy the weather. It's been hot and breezy, so get outside, get some vitamin D on the skin, and just have a good time. But guys, I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll see y'all next week. Later.